The altcoin casino truly is a tragedy. In the last couple of videos, I've been talking about shitcoins a lot, and there's a reason for that. I see it as a tragedy. For once in human history, the average person has had an opportunity to front run the elites, the institutions, the billionaires, the governments, the average citizen has had an opportunity to get in first, not just in a run-of-the-mill investment opportunity. It's more than that. There is this historic opportunity in which, by all appearances, there is this new asset, this object that is being monetized in real time right before our very eyes. This does not happen often, to say the least. The monetization of an object like gold or silver, it happens once in history, and then that's it. It's been monetized, and it can stay as money for thousands of years after that. It is possible for hard money to be demonetized. Yes. Silver was demonetized, for example, and I believe gold is in the process right now of being demonetized. So the monetization of an object like gold or silver, this event occurred thousands of years ago. It would appear that a similar event is occurring on an extremely compressed timeline. So compressed that it is occurring within the lifespan of a single human being. And even then, within, it would seem, just a portion of that lifespan. Bitcoin appears to be monetizing so quickly that it may only have, in retrospect, taken a couple decades for it to happen. That's it. In the grand scheme of history, that is simply phenomenally fast, exponentially fast, lightning fast. If you view history from the perspective of millennia, and you can see that gold and silver were monetized over a relatively long period of time, gradually, but there came to be this consensus over the centuries and the millennia, a consensus agreed to implicitly by all of humanity, that gold and silver are money. And that process took a long time, comparatively. It took generations. A single person would not have lived to be able to see gold go from just being a rock in the ground to money. But we live in an era in which technology is advancing so fast, so rapidly, that we don't even recognize that we are on that exponential growth curve. We don't even know that we're there, because it's zooming by so fast that the blur becomes just a solid image. That's how fast we are going. It's like if you are going at hyperspeed, light just becomes a wall rather than a point. You see, that's how fast things are advancing. That is how fast Bitcoin is monetizing, I think. I think that a very strong argument can be made that that is occurring. And it's not just an argument. I have put my money where my mouth is. I have my life savings in Bitcoin because I believe that is the event that is occurring. That is a historic opportunity for a human being to be able to take advantage of an event like that is just incredible. It's an incredible blessing to have that opportunity, particularly when it's just the average citizen who is earning close to the median income to be able to take advantage of that opportunity before the powerful elites, before the institutions, governments, and so forth. What an opportunity. And what a waste, what a tragedy that so many people are throwing away that precious opportunity on shitcoins and the shitcoin casino. It's all a giant distraction, and increasingly I don't know, I almost have to wonder if there is not some powerful influencers who have been tasked with directing the masses towards the shitcoin casino and away from Bitcoin. That's just a hunch or an intuition. I don't have evidence of that. Take that as you will. That is not gospel, but I do have to wonder if there's not an incentive for very powerful institutions to direct the masses away from Bitcoin specifically and towards this giant distraction that is the shitcoin casino. Because, as we know, the institutions are indeed getting into Bitcoin in a big way. In ways that are public and verifiable, yes, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. I very much suspect that the moves into Bitcoin that we see from very large institutions, very, very powerful agents in this world, if we see them getting into Bitcoin in a very observable and transparent way, I can only imagine what is going on behind the scenes. You don't know what's happening over the counter. You don't know what huge trades are being made. We have no idea. That is invisible to us. We don't know what is going on in the boardrooms of every major corporation in the world. We don't know what conversations they're having. And I personally believe that to the extent that we see companies like MicroStrategy converting their cash into Bitcoin and using Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset, I mean, if that is what we are seeing, what is going on that we cannot see? And it, of course, it has to be emphasized that this is all with Bitcoin, right? The institutions and the powerful elites, to the extent that they are getting into quote-unquote crypto, they are not playing the shitcoin casino. That is for plebs. And it is a distraction that allows these powerful agents, these powerful institutions, even governments, it gives them more time to get all the chess pieces in place to make their move to get into Bitcoin. Because an institution is like an oil tanker. It's not agile. It takes a very long time to change course, to radically change the course. An oil tanker does not turn on a dime, and neither does an institution. That's why it takes an army of lawyers. It takes an army of accountants. It takes board meetings. It takes due diligence. There's all sorts of compliance that needs to be done. There's regulations. institutions, pensions, even family offices. There's so many hoops to jump through to get into Bitcoin. It takes some time. And yet they are jumping through these hoops. We can see it in news headlines almost on a daily basis. The powerful, the elites, the big money in this world, the institutional money, is getting into Bitcoin, and it's just taking time. And that's the point, is that this whole time, the average person, just the average citizen, can turn on a dime. The average citizen can convert their life savings into Bitcoin in an hour. That is the advantage that the average person has had for once in history. You know, if you were an average person who did some research and found some startup company that they wanted to get in on the ground floor with, be a VC invest. Well, too bad. You're not an accredited investor. You're not allowed. Because you are not rich enough, you are not allowed to become richer. That's the legacy financial system. And for once, the tables are turned. For once, it is the average person who is able to take advantage of an opportunity very early, before everyone else, to be to essentially be a VC investor, to be one of the first, the founding investors. The average person can do that while the institutions are still maneuvering to be able to make that happen. And to that extent, that opportunity for the average person is vanishing. It's not going to be long before the institutional wall of money comes crashing down, and that edge that the average citizen has will have been lost. And that's the tragedy, is that there's so many people that have everything tied up in the shitcoin casino, and it's all going to vanish into thin air. All those paper profits, all those gains, it's all going to be gone. Like a puff of smoke. And the tragedy is the real opportunity the whole time was, it was the one staring them right in the face. The one that they thought they were late to, because that's the rationalization, right? I've seen it. So many people look at Bitcoin's price and they say, oh, it's too late, I missed it. Therefore, I'm going to go venture out into the casino and try to make up for lost time. That, I've seen it over and over and over again. People think they're late to Bitcoin because it's approaching $100,000, and that's why they go gamble, because they're trying to make up for what they view as a missed opportunity. I think that the problem with this line of thinking, of course, is that it is not too late to get into Bitcoin. Viewed from a if you have a low time preference and you zoom out and look at what is happening with Bitcoin on the scale of decades, and you look at the long-term trends, you look at how Bitcoin is on track for being, it's going to the millions. Ultimately, it's going to zero, in the sense that fiat currency, what is the long-term shelf life of fiat at this point? It's zero. I don't know what the time scale for that is, but it's looking like we're in the end game. I made a video on that recently, talking about what happened last year in March when they lowered the reserve requirement to 0%. We're in the end game for fiat. What happens to Bitcoin's price when it becomes the only alternative? What happens to Bitcoin's purchasing power or its value to humanity when it is a alternative financial system in a box. Just, break glass in case of emergency. It's right there waiting. That is the perspective you need to look at. You are not late to Bitcoin. I buy Bitcoin right now. I dollar cost average. If I just recently, a few days ago, I was fortunate to come into some extra cash, a fair amount, and without even blinking, I put it into Bitcoin. I just lump summed it right into Bitcoin at the current price. And I'm a buyer who was buying Bitcoin at $3,000 or $4,000. That was my first major buy-in. And now at 60, 65,000 or whatever, no question, I buy at this price without blinking. I lump sum into it if I come across some extra cash. And I diligently dollar cost average as well, just on a monthly basis with every paycheck. No questions, because I know that it's still early. Because I have a perspective, a long-term perspective measured in decades. I know that I don't need a shitcoin casino to make up for lost time, because there's no lost time to be made up for. You are still right in the middle, smack dab in the middle of the exponential growth curve. It really doesn't matter in terms of exponential growth. If you're in the middle of the curve, you enjoy the ride. You just keep buying in, because on the scale of just even a few years, it's just going up. If you get what is really going on, then you know that it's not too early. Now, there's one more point I want to emphasize in regards to Bitcoin and the tragedy of the shitcoin casino in relation to Bitcoin's historic once-in-a-humanity opportunity. There's one more point I want to make. Why Bitcoin and not an altcoin? Or why Bitcoin and not just the cryptocurrency space altogether? Why do I focus on Bitcoin? Because I am looking at a specific event that is occurring. It is the monetization of an object, in this case, a digital object, which is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a map of this transcendental object that we know of as absolute digital scarcity. It is a map. It is a ledger that divides that object. And the monetization of that object can only occur once, and it can only occur on one ledger or one map. Anything else is a copy. At the end of the day, there's no way of getting around it. There can only be one absolute digital scarcity. Anything else that claims to be that is not the same type of scarcity. It is not the type that can be monetized. It is a different type, in the way that stocks can be scarce, but not in the way that gold is. Right? There's a difference. We're looking at an event, the monetization of a digital object that is bridged to the idea of absolute scarcity. That specific event is what I am looking at. That is all you need. When you have a historic opportunity like that, that is all you need. You don't need a casino. You're not late. You just have to recognize the opportunity. You have to look at the grand scheme of what is going on here. There's only going to be one digital gold, one hard money at all. I don't even think gold will be hard money anymore. It's just going to be Bitcoin. Money is really winner take all. And That's the game that I'm playing. I am playing the game of watching this object called Bitcoin monetize in real time and just take over everything. Take over gold, take over fiat, replace it all. That's what I'm watching happening in real time. I don't need anything else. And that's the tragedy of the shitcoin casino, is that everyone that's playing in it is missing out on this opportunity. They are missing out on the real game. The real game that is being played by the real money. The big money. And they're over there playing with casino chips. Casino chips that at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to cash out. That's the danger. That's the tragedy of the shitcoin casino. And that's my warning to anyone who thinks that they have to play those games because they're too late to Bitcoin. Because you're not. But you soon will be.